As we get started, we're opening our interview with Reverend Angela Lewis.
Yes.
And I met your fine husband sitting over there off camera this morning at the commencement. That was a bonus. I didn't realize the connections in Washington, North Carolina here.
Yes, we're good.
But so you are in our Master of Executive Leadership program with Christian Life School of Theology Global. And now you started in which cohort?
I started in cohort 1.
Cohort
the
1.
The very first cohort.
And that was the early 2025.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I understood from the other meeting the other day that you were taking a break, but you're jumping back in with a later cohort.
I'm jumping back in with cohort 2. I had an assignment that we were working on, a project for my job. I'm an early care and education manager with the North Carolina Partnership for Children. And so we were working on a project towards a RFA around child care resource and referral. And so that project really took most of my time, a project that I was very excited about. And as a matter of fact, because of what I learned in the first personal productivity piece, that's really what gave me the time to be able to pursue this, but it just took longer than we thought, and it took more work. And so I decided and talked with Dr. Langley about coming in to this second cohort. So still very excited about this work, because one of the things that I really appreciate about this degree is that it's competency-based, meaning that you literally apply to wherever you are, if it's ministry, if it's even the position that I had, where you're working with state partners in different disciplines across the state. You can use what you're learning as you're learning. And so even what I learned in personal productivity, personal leadership, I'm still using that in my job every day towards becoming a better and more productive leader. So that's been exciting. That's been exciting.
That's really awesome. It's almost like I gave you these questions ahead of time. You so perfectly answered the first question, which was tell us who you are and what you do professionally or in ministry. But the second question, what was happening in your life or leadership journey when you decided to enroll in the Master of Executive Leadership program at CLST? So back in early 2025, what was going on then?
Right. Well, actually, my husband was going to CLST. And I really, just saw how much that he benefited from the classes and how, it just made a difference in his ministry and the work that he was doing. And then he shared with me that, hey, I heard that there's this new degree, executive leadership, because for me, my job, the position that I have, that is part of my ministry. I'm the associate pastor here at Spring Garden with my husband and pastor's wife, which I very much love that role as well. But also the work that I do has always been ministry, and God shared that with me many, many years ago. And so as I was growing in responsibility in that position, I was really seeing the need to grow in my leadership potential and ability. Not so much the potential. I felt like there was potential, but the ability was lacking some. And so my husband literally shared this with me, and then I got an opportunity to meet with Dr. Langley and kind of talk it through. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So many faith-based leaders find ourselves in marketplace ministry, but there is no, literally, seriously, another degree program that I've looked at, heard about that was like this, where it's competency-based, very much able to integrate my faith and who I am, and to grow in my leadership potential. Not potential, but ability. And so that has been just amazing, but really just seeing the need to grow as a leader. Sometimes we can get complacent, especially if you've been leading for a while, but then realize, oh, wow, for what this next level of what God is calling me to in this position, I need, just more skills. And so that's what led me to this program. And I absolutely am so happy that I made that decision.
Sometimes it's real easy to want to rest on our successes
Isn't that the
and
truth?
stop moving forward.
Isn't that the
And
truth?
that's just not what this Christian life is called to be.
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly.
We've got to keep growing. We've got to keep learning. We've got to keep reaching.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
yes.
what challenges or limitations were you facing before you started the program?
For me, just thinking about time, right? Because like I said, sharing the responsibilities of ministry, very much just praise God for that opportunity in my life and ministry. And also feeling like, when will I have time to do this? Because when I first started, even though I knew it was competency-based, that had been shared with me, I still had that old paradigm of what school looks like, that I'm going to have to do this reading, and then I'm going to have all these assignments are going to be due, and how am I going to be able to do that? But then as I got into the program and realized, oh my gosh, I apply this to what I'm doing every day. That I'm telling you, you literally grow as you go, which is amazing, because in undergrad, other, studies, that's not what that is. You study the books, you do the activities, you get the grade, and then try to apply it when you get a job later. Yeah. But what seemed to be a limitation as I kind of jumped in, then I saw that, oh, wow, this is helping me today. You know what I mean? Today. Right. So what was a limitation really became a blessing and a plus for me.
Yeah. And I love about the competency-based is, in order for you to pass the course,
yes.
in order for you to pass the program, you actually have to put it into practice.
Exactly.
Learning something and passing an exam, which the bulk of our courses are.
Right.
That's our bread and butter, if you will. We've been doing that for 43 years. Yeah. And that's really great. And
yes.
it's an awesome opportunity. But I love the idea that you're not going to pass this course if you don't apply what you've learned.
Exactly.
It's not, oh, I learned it, I'll get around to applying
right.
it. Or we don't leave it up to you to figure out how to apply it.
Exactly.
You have to apply it
exactly.
in order to get to the next module and keep progressing. That's really awesome.
It is.
So how would you say that this program has changed the way you lead? And I love that this is an interview with a pastor's wife, associate pastor spot. As your husband sits over there off camera and watches. So this should be, I'm gonna look over to his reaction a little bit too, but I'd love to know how has this program changed the way that you lead?
I am more confident, a more confident leader. And one of, I think, the components of both of personal productivity and personal leadership is really taking a look at who you are and begin to affirm what God has already placed on the inside. And so when you begin to affirm what God has already placed on the inside, and then you have these tools and these skills to continue to practice and grow, then I've become more confident as a leader and in my ability and capability to lead others well. Yeah. And so I think that has been the main change, being more confident and, being able to ask those questions of myself and hold myself accountable. Sometimes we can think that it's other things, it's situations or people. And if it was just this ideal situation, then I would be able to lead better and I could be able to do this. But really taking that accountability for self-leadership really has caused me to be more confident in my skills and how I'm able to show up in the places and spaces, whether that's in church, whether that's at home, or whether that's at work with the North Carolina Partnership for Children.
Yeah, that is awesome. So could you share a moment when something you learned immediately impacted your ministry, your business, your organization, or team? That question is obviously built for multiple kinds of people, but you have multiple touch points in this question as well.
Yes. So I think for me, it kind of, when I first started, because my focus was so much on marketplace ministry, to be honest, I started to notice more in that place and space, because most of the principles that I was applying was to that. And then over time, I could see, oh, wow, I'm changing and I have more to bring to the table here at church. And for me, really, one of the pieces is, even when I'm at work now, I take more ownership of leadership. And what I mean by that is willing with ideas, being able to have a plan, right? And because I've planned my time, it gives me more time to focus on some of those things that I really didn't have the time to do before, and has made a difference and an impact in decisions that we've made as an organization, which for me is kind of huge because prior to that, I was very hesitant. I wasn't feeling as confident in my leadership ability. And so even that project that I was sharing about earlier, being able to come to that, and because I had planned my day, because I had some SMART goals around it, because I was more confident, then I was able to relay that to others in the team and for us to progress. And I think at church, just really asking my husband more questions about, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and that kind of thing, and being able to have more of a dialogue with him, leader to leader. So that has made a difference. That has made a difference.
All right. Well, I will say for those that can't see him off camera, he is all smiles about that response. All smiles over there. Mm-hmm. So how has the program strengthened your spiritual life and leadership, especially from a biblical perspective?
Mm-hmm. From a biblical perspective, a lot of times, when we look at these great leaders in the Bible, whether it's Esther, whether it's Moses. For me, I think Ruth was an amazing leader. I don't think we all the time put her in that place and space, but I think that she was. And so we think of them as these are just extraordinary people. No, these are ordinary people with an extraordinary God. And I think that after one of the things as being a part of this executive leadership journey, just even for the personal productivity and personal leadership, beginning to see that our amazing God has placed potential in me.
Oh, that's good.
Leadership potential in me. And that extraordinary God is taking my ordinary and using this program to really show me what that potential is. And then he goes ahead and puts his super on my natural. But he gives me the opportunity to do that work. And so that has been phenomenal in my life, to get to know God. It's so much of him. But in this facet of leadership, it's like he's breathed a fresh wind on me around who he is as it pertains to my leadership and how he wants to use me, like Esther, for such a time as this. So that has been amazing.
I absolutely have loved what you said, to put the super on your natural.
I'm trying to tell you. Yes.
That was so amazing. If you ever wonder where those 30 and 60-second snippets come out of video, it's places like that. That's that right there is going to be the short, the reel with a link to the full interview. I guarantee you that's just really awesome. So what has been the most transformational lesson or breakthrough that you've experienced during the program? Just a reminder to those watching that you have completed one of 5 modules.
Well, actually 2.
Have you done modules?
I've done personal productivity and personal leadership.
That's all right. I'm sorry about that. Mm-hmm. But you're 2 of 5.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So out of those 2, what would be your response?
Say the question again. I'm so sorry.
Yes. So what has been the most transformational lesson or breakthrough that you've experienced during the program?
Oh, wow. So many. I think the most transformational, to be honest, it is those, for anyone who's thinking about going through this, pursuing this degree, one of the things that you get is tools. Right? And they are literal assessments. They are sheets to help you really think about what your SMART goals are, really to plan, like not just your work life, but what's going on with you personally and that kind of thing. The most transformational piece has been me, okay? Someone who really is not disciplined in that way, I found out in that person, but to really over time begin to like effectively and consistently use tools to help me plan has been the most transformational piece. Not that I was always on the fly, but kind of was, you know what I mean, in making decisions, and just the tools and the resources that you get and you're able to keep and continue to use has made a difference. And then you can share these tools as you're learning, right? Because one of the things is to be able to what? Empower your teams, empower the folks that you work with. So you have these tools that you're able to use to kind of begin to, you know, organize.
Whatever you take in finds its way out.
Right.
So that's what's happening here.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. So we're kind of winding down on the questions. We have a few left, but how has the program helped prepare you for greater influence, responsibility, or purpose?
I think one of the things that is so amazing with this program too, a lot of programs now, they're online, so you do a lot of the work online. Because this degree also gives you the opportunity to be in a cohort with other folks, right? And then Dr. Langley is with us.
Instant
so every 2 weeks, right? It's the accountability. It's also giving you a lens, a window to what leadership looks like in other places and spaces. So I think that has helped a lot, with me helping to really grow stronger because of the cohort of folks that I'm with, and we're learning, we're growing together. And I think that really helps to me and has made a difference for me.
Yeah, listening to the stories of the others that were finishing that particular module they were in, the meeting that we had just a couple days ago. And, some of us just really close to tearing up. I think some of us might actually have with some of those stories of transformation and change in their life.
And when you're on that journey together the whole time, that I really appreciate that there is that live piece of really being able to be together and to talk about these assignments and work through challenges, work through any barriers.
And at least what I have seen, because I'm not actually in any of this myself personally, but I get to sit in a lot of the meetings. I love the atmosphere that Dr. Langley has created, where it is one of the safest spaces.
Absolutely.
I think you'll find to be able to share the reality. I love when someone said, I won't say just to protect their name, they may not want it to everybody that might see this, but they started out with, I know it's God because I don't like it. One of the measurements is God doing this in my life. Do I like it? No, but it's probably God. And then so many people identifying with that in the chat.
Exactly.
Somebody said, I feel you. It was just really so good. But I love that it is such a safe space. People can be so transparent. And the lessons that you learn from others' experiences as they share those.
Priceless.
And then you have the opportunity to do the same.
Absolutely.
Priceless. That's an excellent description.
It is.
Yes.
It's priceless. As leaders, we don't get that opportunity often.
Well, and that's true because the world expects us to be perfect. We really have precious few, if any, outlets to let people know our hurts, and our pain points, and our things that we're dealing with and going through. And people forget we're human as well.
So, and that's a gift of this this degree.
So what would you say to someone who feels called to greater leadership but doubts they're capable?
We have
an off-camera contributor. Be careful, we'll put you over here for the next interview.
I would say that none of us, I personally feel, especially in leadership, are as capable as we feel like we want to be. But we can all absolutely grow in our potential. And I think the capability is really around the willingness to step out, right? And really for this program, and I'm not here just because I'm a cheerleader for it, I'm here because my life has been transformed and changed as a woman and as a leader. And I didn't feel that I was capable. I mean, when you think of executive leadership, you think of the C-suite, you think of, I'm a pastor's wife, I'm doing this work. You are capable. That's what I would say. I would say you are capable of making that first step, and I guarantee you God will do the rest. God will do the rest. If you take that first step, just see what it's all about. And I'm not here to try to sell a program or a degree. I'm saying my life has been and is being transformed. I am a much more confident and capable, yes, leader than I was when I started. And I'm so excited to continue on this journey. And so whether that's here at church with my church family that I love so much, I'm more confident in my ability to share the love of Christ. But then as God gives me wisdom and knowledge, I'm more confident to share that wisdom and knowledge with them based on what I've learned, what I've gained, and the strength that's there, from coming together in a cohort of leaders. This is a very unique program, and the capability starts with just taking that first step, literally, really, and seeing what God will do.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that you're not trying to sell it. That's what I tell people that are working on how to communicate something like this. I said, don't try and sell it.
Right.
Just tell people your story.
That's it.
That is strong enough.
That's it.
And
that's it.
The point that you're making of telling your story and not selling is that you really just want other people to be aware of the opportunity to have the experience that you've had.
Yes.
I tell people it's as simple as the new restaurant in town that I haven't tried, and you asked me if I've tried it.
Right.
You went and it was great.
Yes.
And why did you tell me that? Because you wanted me to go have that same experience.
Yes.
And what's the best advertising ever?
Yes.
You telling me about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if it's a new restaurant in town and it's not good, and you tell me you went and it wasn't that great, I'm not going to go either. You know. So being able to share that story, and I want to throw this out too. And this one, this won't make the cut of the interview, but I'll use it somewhere. My wife and I were full-time pastors for 20 years.
Wow.
I often steal Dr. Langley's point that he pastored for 25 years and God let him out on good behavior.
Right.
I tell him I must have been better because I pastored for 20 years and God let me out on good behavior. Honestly, I think it might have been for the benefit of the body that God let me out of being a pastor. I don't know. But I want to come up to the pastor's wife role because, personally, what I've seen in the success of a pastor very often, if not always, has everything to do with the leader that his wife is when she serves as the pastor's wife, or she may be the pastor of the church. I love that you can give a real and personal example of your life, right? And how this is working out for you. So our last official question, which you kind of alluded to, but maybe just hit it one more time, specifically, why would you recommend the Master of Executive Leadership to other leaders?
I would recommend it to other leaders because really in the times that we're living in now, depending on whether you are a brand new leader, you're in a leadership position, or you've been in a leadership position for a while, I would recommend this because we all, no matter where we are, right, can grow to the next level that God has for us. We're on the trajectory of going, we are pressing toward the mark for the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. So it doesn't stop. You don't get to one place and you get, I've arrived. We can continue to grow in our leadership, and the potential and capability is already there. And so I would share with anyone, if you want to be all that God has called you to be, then you're going to keep growing, keep going, keep learning. And I have learned so much. And sometimes, we sometimes have a lid and don't realize it, right? But when you start in, taking that step toward growing and being all God has called you to be, you would be just surprised what more there is that God has for you. Because leadership is really not about us, right? It's about God first and foremost, stepping into that calling, but it's about bringing others to where he would have them to be. We're going somewhere. We're leading folks somewhere, right? And so if I'm, going to be following somebody, I want you to be the best that you possibly can be. And so that's
pressure,
how
Dr. Langley.
the best, right? And I really feel like he is one of the best. Absolutely, absolutely. With and just really a pioneer around this piece of faith-based marketplace ministry and this opportunity. But yes, we want to be all God has called us to be. He's not done with us yet. We have not arrived. And that's why I would encourage any leader, come on, let's continue to grow in our potential. Let's make an impact and a difference.
If we're still breathing oxygen, we're not done. Right?
Exactly. Somebody's
asked me here and there, they say, well, what's your retirement plan? I said, I think I accidentally retired sometime in the last couple of years, just because I pretty much only do what I want to and what I enjoy. Nobody asks anything of me. People say, boy, you really work hard. Yeah, I really like what I do. But I don't, my retirement plan is to keep going until I can't go anymore. And if my body changes the way I have to do that, then I'll pivot, because somehow I've got to keep at it.
That's right.
That's the end of our official interview.
All right,
however, I like to ask everybody the same question at the end of it. It doesn't matter if it's a phone conversation, a Zoom, or an interview.
Right.
I like to ask this question: what didn't I ask? What's something that burns in you that you would want anybody to hear? And it may not have anything to do with master executive leadership. Doesn't matter. Just what didn't I ask that you would want to share with anybody with this opportunity right now?
I would want to share with women that sometimes, as women, we may not necessarily see ourselves as leaders in the same way, especially when you're a pastor's wife. I hid behind my husband's leadership for years before I ever became an ordained minister. When I, felt that the call of God was on my life, we were in Baltimore, Maryland. I talked to my pastor about it and everything, because he was like, if you feel the call of God or you feel like God is calling, you'll need to come and tell me. I'm not going to point you out, because if God told you, then you need to be able to open the mouth and say so. Long story short, I came to him before we were getting ready to move to North Carolina to share that with him. I said, I don't want you to find out about it, and I'm in North Carolina. Long story short, he said, well, actually, what y'all didn't know was I'm moving back to North Carolina, which is my home, right? So then when we all got to North Carolina together, it was really a God, I thank you. It really was a God move. Long story short, I started feeling like, well, maybe that's not what I'm supposed to do. And I went back to him and told him, I really think I'm supposed to support Aaron's ministry, and I'm supposed to, do that. But when God calls you, it'll get like Samuel, it'll be an Eli in your life, which was for me, the Holy Spirit. Let me know this is what you need to do. But I hid behind my husband's leadership. And I think sometimes as women, whether you're pastors' wives, we don't feel like, we can, pursue leadership. What does it look like to pursue leadership, to be that leader? And so I would say to women, don't sell yourself short, right? Look at these amazing, bold, phenomenal women in the Bible who were ordinary wives and moms, and look what God did, right? And if there is any prompting of the Holy Spirit in you, step out and be the leader God has called you to be, because you will complement the ministry. Especially if the two are one, then you're missing your part if you don't, step out. So I would say to women, I would say to women, trust God, step out. You'd be surprised what he's placed on the inside of you.
That is amazing. And again, I'll just report the off-camera smiles of her husband sitting right over there. I agree with that 1,000%. I couldn't find a way to agree with it more. If I could say something to the guys who just heard that, men, be strong, because having a strong woman with a strong man, I just said it a little while ago, I have seen that a lot of the success of a man in leadership has to do with how his wife is in leadership. And the stronger she is, the further he'll go. The further you'll go together.
Yeah, that's my prayer.
So men, man up, whatever the phrase is, but let that woman be strong.
Let her be strong.
Let her lead.
Let her be.
And as you pointed out, if you need some biblical references,
Yes, and especially
there
Deborah.
are plenty.
Yes,
There
and
are plenty.
I love Lapidoth. Deborah's husband.
Yeah.
I mean, just mentioned his name. I said, now that's a strong man.
Yeah.
Okay, here you going out here with Barack, some other man. Okay, to help him because he needs you. And evidently, God had already put that together for them. So exciting.
I've actually found my wife and I will be married 29 years in August. And I have learned that there are areas where she is stronger than me. There are areas where she's a better leader than I am. And so I love her all the more for it. You know,
Absolutely.
I love to see her success. And no doubt that man over there is loving to see where God is taking you on this particular part of the journey.
He is
it's exciting for him as well.
Number one cheerleader.
Yeah.
He really is. I thank the Lord for Pastor Ellie. Go, dude. He wants to see me. Go. You can do it. You can do it.
I love it.
So,
I love
me too. Me too.
Well, my friend, I think we've come to the end of our time.
I hope this interview was all right.
It is fantastic. I promise you it's going to be great. And we'll share it with as many people as we can. Because like I said, just being able to tell different stories, it always hits a different way. You know, the way you tell your story and your experiences and the way things have impacted you will touch someone in a way that my story would, somebody else's story doesn't. Right. So I love to be able to capture and share these stories, and who knows how many people might be able to see this that you can be a blessing to.
I hope someone is encouraged to step out on
You can look through the record when you get to heaven of everywhere it went. I don't have any biblical basis for that. But I don't know if we'll know everything that ever happened by something that we did in faith, but we'll see. But thank you for your time and graciously hosting me in your beautiful historic building here.
Thank you for being with us.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. We thank the Lord for it. This was actually a school. And some of our members went to when they were young. We have a marker on the front, a historical marker. It was an industrial school.
Oh, wow.
And so
I just said historical building. I could tell from the architecture.
Yeah.
You literally have a historical marker in the brick.
In the front.
Okay, that's huge.
Yep, in the front of the building. Yeah. We just got it put up. And so we thank God. And just that's another reason. Just want to grow, in leadership potential, as we continue to move forward in 2026 from 18, that's a long time ago. Yeah. We're reaching just this wonderful generation that we're in now.